The 100 metre dash is running with a cold. Should you go running whilst you're sick? I recently have succumbed to a cold brought home from the mini humans in our house, and I wanted to share some of the general information that I came across whilst trying to figure out whether to run or not. To put into context for myself, I have a marathon in 7 days. I've completed my last main session on Wednesday when I started feeling under the weather. It's not COVID. If it is COVID for yourself, please follow the guidelines as suggested by the government. Some of the healthcare professionals suggest using the neck rule when deciding whether to run or not when you're suffering with cold. So basically what that means is symptoms involving the neck and below, so like a sore throat or a cough itself or a chesty production, any infections, body aches, chills, vomiting, diarrhea or swollen glands. It was suggested to require time off from running to just let the body adequately fight what it needs to. Give it a chance to recover. Symptoms above the neck, such as like a runny nose or like stuffiness or sneezing, generally don't require time off, and I strongly suggest maybe revisiting intensity and potentially the volume during this time. Maybe monitor your heart rate or resting heart rate to see if you can gather further information about your recovery between sessions, between runs. It can be quite easy to sometimes overtrain at these times, even though you don't feel like you're putting more into your training. Although it's not an exact science, running can even help with some cold symptoms because exercise does release some adrenaline, also called epinephrine, which is a natural decongestant. This is why a run can sometimes clear out your nasal passages. If you do decide to run, like mentioned prior, keep the pace easy and stick to shorter distances. These runs should be about maintaining fitness whilst you're feeling a wee bit under the weather, not about improving it. Things I was looking for during my runs were like dizziness, nausea, elevated heart rate or work of perceived exertion, abnormal sweating, and I tend to stop running when I was a bit more productive than normal or it felt harder work than normal. It should be worth noting that even with precautions, training through an illness is not without risk. You can escalate a simple cold into something much more serious like a sinus infection or even going into the respiratory tract infection itself, or even in the worst case a pneumonia type presentation. It's very important to listen to your body when in doubt. Just sit out, and it might be better taking some more time to recover than anything else, just because you might end up taking longer out of your training if you do proceed onwards. With my marathon coming up, it helped to justify my choice to stop running, but if you're in a training block, try not to jeopardise all your hard work by being stubborn, and also knowing that you're maintaining fitness rather than building fitness. So the other question is, when should you return to running after suffering from like a cold and flu? I find it, again, there's no real science, but it's best to wait a full 24 hours where you have no symptoms, especially after like a fever, before resuming training. Again, try running with short, easy paced runs and just rebuild the distance up gradually. The most important thing with injuries is found when we increase things too fast too soon, so gradual is so important. It might even be that you incorporate some walk breaks into your runs and can assist with the adding to your fitness and distance. Rest, drink lots of water, monitor your symptoms closely. Thanks for listening.